Thrown out as a teen due to my brother's lies, years later my parents see my success and I am a 28-year-old woman named Claire, and I grew up with my twin brother Ryan. Our childhood couldn't have been more different even though we were born on the same day, raised under the same roof, and shared the same last name. From an early age, my parents seemed absolutely convinced that Ryan was the golden child, the one destined to achieve something monumental. Meanwhile, I was branded the family disappointment. My only crime? I preferred being active, playing volleyball and soccer, and hanging out with friends rather than spending every waking moment cramming for exams like Ryan. My parents constantly compared us. His report cards were praised like holy relics, while my efforts were dismissed. It chipped away at my confidence in ways I'm still learning to undo. Every birthday was a painful reminder of this bias. Ryan's birthday parties, though we shared the same birthday, were massive events. He'd have parties with entire classrooms invited, colorful decorations, expensive cakes, and piles of gifts. My party was usually just an afterthought, sometimes celebrated the next day with a small cake, often without any friends around because my parents barely bothered to invite them. Ryan had regular sleepovers with his buddies, but I wasn't even allowed to bring a single friend home. The only person who truly saw me and cared for me during those years was my grandmother, Evelyn. Whenever she visited, she'd bring my favorite sweets, little strawberry cream candies, and slip me $5 bills with a warm smile, whispering that I should treat myself. Her small acts of kindness were the only moments I felt seen. As we got older, my parents' favoritism turned darker. By middle school, it wasn't just indifference, it was emotional abuse. They mocked me openly about my grades, belittled my hobbies, and compared every aspect of me to Ryan. Even when I excelled at sports, winning small tournaments, they didn't allow me to join school teams or participate in extracurricular activities. Their excuse? You need to focus on academics like Ryan. It didn't matter that Ryan hated sports and had no interest in friends, he was still their shining star. Things escalated in my sophomore year of high school. My parents grounded me once again, but this time the crime was absurd. I had downloaded Snapchat. Like any teenager, I just wanted to stay in touch with my friends. But to my parents, this was a huge betrayal. They went ballistic, storming into my room, throwing my belongings around like I was some criminal. Then, in a cruel display of control, they removed my bedroom door, announcing that I'd have no privacy in their house. What crushed me the most was that my brother saw all of this and didn't care. Worse, he weaponized it. Ryan thrived on my misery. He would blame me for everything he did wrong. If he broke something or stole money, he would twist the story so I'd get punished. My parents, already predisposed to see me as the problem child, believed him every single time. At school, Ryan painted me as a monster. He started spreading lies, claiming I was aggressive and abusive toward him at home. He took it to horrifying lengths, punching himself or deliberately bruising his arms and face, then showing up at school with these fake injuries as proof of my supposed violence. Teachers and classmates believed him. The final straw came during our 14th birthday. None of Ryan's friends showed up to the party my parents had thrown for him. I didn't know why, but his anger was palpable. Meanwhile, my friends took me out for ice cream to celebrate. Instead of being happy for me, Ryan's resentment boiled over. From that day, he made it his mission to ruin my reputation. Soon, even my closest friends began to pull away. Whispers followed me in hallways. I'd hear things like, "Is that her? The one who hits her brother?" It was surreal and devastating. I eventually asked my former best friend what was happening, and she admitted that Ryan had been telling everyone I was violent, spoiled, and cruel. She even said he claimed I was jealous of him because the whole family loved him more. I confronted Ryan, but he just smirked and told me I deserved to rot alone. His words scared me because I realized how far he was willing to go to destroy me. Not long after, the rumors reached the school principal. I was called into his office along with Ryan and our parents. My heart pounded as I tried to explain myself, but Ryan, without missing a beat, told the principal that every rumor was true. He portrayed me as a bitter, angry bully who took out her frustrations on him. My mom sobbed while clinging to Ryan like he was some poor victim. My dad praised him for his bravery in speaking up. I begged them to listen to me, tears streaming down my face. I tried to explain that Ryan was lying, but nobody listened. The principal looked me dead in the eyes and said the school did not tolerate bullying. I was suspended for 10 days. When we got home, my dad's anger hit an all-time high. He started packing my things without warning. I was confused, terrified, and begged him to stop. He shouted that he couldn't allow a violent child to live under the same roof as Ryan. My mother stood there silently, watching him throw my clothes into a suitcase. I clung to my father's legs, crying, begging them to hear me out. Ryan watched with a cold expression, refusing to admit the truth. My father yelled that I was no longer welcome in the house. He said he'd call my grandmother to pick me up if she cared enough. Grandma Evelyn came as soon as she could. She saw me sobbing in the foyer with my things scattered and hugged me tightly. Then she stormed up to my parents' door and unleashed a fury I'll never forget. She told my dad that if he ever tried to contact or harm me again, she'd involve Child Protective Services and even the police. My mom tried to argue that this was my fault, but Grandma shut her down. For the first time, I saw someone stand up to my parents on my behalf. That night, I left my childhood home, never to return. I cried for days, barely eating despite my grandmother's efforts to comfort me. When I told her the full story of Ryan's lies, she was horrified but reassured me she believed me. She was my rock. Going back to school after the suspension was a nightmare. Everyone looked at me differently, as if I were guilty. Ryan walked around acting like nothing happened, now the hero who had supposedly endured my cruelty. I became invisible. I ate lunch alone, kept my head down, and just tried to survive until graduation. Through all this, my parents never once checked on me. They pretended I didn't exist. But Grandma never let me forget that I was loved. She constantly told me that life would get better. And eventually, I started to believe her. The turnaround. When I graduated high school, I felt like I was escaping prison. College was my fresh start. For the first time, I tasted freedom. No one watching me, no endless comparisons to Ryan, no suffocating rules. I made friends who genuinely liked me for who I was. During college, I discovered my love for writing. I had always been a storyteller at heart, but I wasn't sure it could become a career. To earn extra money, I started doing freelance content writing. Little by little, I built a portfolio. My clients were happy with my work, and I soon realized I didn't need to rely on my parents for anything. By the time I graduated, I had a full-fledged freelancing business. I decided not to chase a traditional corporate job. Instead, I became a digital nomad, traveling the world while writing for clients. It was liberating and healing to see new places and build a life entirely on my own terms. Grandma was the only family I had left, and I made sure to visit her often, helping her around the house and just enjoying her company. She was so proud of me. Recently, I completed one of the biggest projects of my career, working with a well-known brand. I can't name them for confidentiality. The campaign was a success and I shared my joy online. My posts went viral among content writers, leading to more job offers and collaborations. Eventually, I was even invited back to my college to speak about building a writing career. Standing on that stage, sharing my journey, I felt like I had come full circle. Then, a local TV station invited me for an interview about freelancing and digital careers. When the episode aired, my relatives began to realize just how well I was doing. I suspect that's when my parents also found out, because suddenly my phone lit up with missed calls from my mother. After years of silence, I was stunned. I called her back, and both my mom and dad were on the line, congratulating me and asking about my life. Then, the real reason for their call came out. They wanted money. They claimed they were struggling financially and needed help renovating the family home. My dad said, "We're family. You should share some of your success with us." I told them bluntly that I wouldn't give them a cent, not after how they treated me. My mom exploded, calling me ungrateful and selfish. My dad argued that they had raised me, so I owed them. That's when I decided to give them a taste of their own medicine. I told them I'd only consider helping them if they publicly admitted what Ryan had done. How he lied, manipulated everyone, and ruined my life. I wanted them to tell the truth to the entire family, just as they had once publicly humiliated me. They refused, of course. My dad yelled that as my father, it was my duty to help them. I reminded them that Grandma, not them, had raised me when they threw me out. I hung up, ignoring their calls ever since. The aftermath. A few days later, Ryan sent me a nasty text. He admitted to lying about me when we were teenagers but told me to get over it. He mocked me for being unmarried and childless, saying I should do the right thing and pay for our parents' renovations. His message cut deep, but it also reignited my determination. I wrote an email to all close relatives laying out the full story. The favoritism, the emotional abuse, the false rumors, and how my parents kicked me out. I attached Ryan's text where he admitted lying about me. The fallout was massive. My relatives were shocked. Many apologized for not knowing what I went through. My parents, embarrassed, sent me abusive messages, but I contacted a lawyer who sent them a cease and desist notice. Since then, they've stopped contacting me. Grandma supports me 100%. Professionally, my writing career is thriving. Personally, I've started therapy to heal from my past. For the first time in my life, I feel free.